Are you tired of going to work every day, reporting to a boss, making somebody else rich, while all of your personal finances feel like they're not getting in order?
Today, we're going to talk about the step-by-step process that we use to get out of our 9-to-5 jobs and ultimately gain financial freedom.
If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and then click the bell so that you're alerted anytime we drop a weekly video.
It's no mystery that 90% of millionaires made their money through real estate. So if it's your goal to leave your 9-to-5 job, what you have to do is build enough passive cash flow that exceeds your monthly expenses so that you could go to a job or not go to a job, and it doesn't matter because you've already covered all your bills.
And what's the fastest way to build all of your passive income? Multifamily real estate investing. So the first thing that we want to talk about is the most important one, and it's establishing your why. Why do you want to get out of the 9-to-5 rat race? Why do you want passive income? And why do you want all of those things to come true for you? So if you establish your why, it's going to help you, because multifamily real estate investing is a struggle. It's a roller coaster ride of emotions. You have your highs, you have your lows. If you don't know why you started, you will want to throw in the towel. For me, in the very beginning, a long time ago, I didn't have kids. I didn't have a family. I wasn't married, right? But back then, I seriously did not want to do what I was doing. I was waking up at 3:30 in the morning to go to work for a 16-hour day, working a 9-to-5 that wasn't really a 9-to-5. It was more like a 9 a.m. to a 5 a.m. My why was, how in the hell can I get out of this rat race? And it always felt like no matter what, I was looking for my next promotion, my next raise, my next big thing, because I was constantly trying to earn more money. But the more money I earned, the more taxes I paid, so the less money I got, and I just wasn't really getting ahead. So that was my why. And then that's how I dove into it. And over time, as we grow, as we age, and as life kind of happens with us, we shift our values. And as I became married and had kids, then my why shifted, and then it became stronger, because it was like, okay, now I've got to do this. It's like when your why and what you should do becomes your must, it just enforces it even bigger.
Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is stop the bleeding and make it rain. All right, what does that mean? There's two things that are going to impact how quickly you can get out of your job: the money coming in and the money going out. So you're not going to hear us talk very often about reducing your expenses or what you shouldn't be doing, because we focus with everything we teach all about how to actually get in the game, how to start building your passive income. But today we are going to actually talk about both, because when you're trying to make that transition from having a 9-to-5 where your money comes in from a job to leaving that, that's going to be a time where you might make some sacrifices to get out faster. I'm not saying you have to do this. The greatest thing is you have the choice. But making some decisions now might help you to get out of that rat race more quickly.
So I had a Starbucks problem, and on my way to work, Monday through Friday, I just had to go get me a venti every Monday through Friday, right? That's like, back then, $5 coffee problem. $5 a day coffee problem. That's $25 a week. That was $1,300 a year problem.
Dang.
Right?
Sometimes you don't even realize, because you're just doing life and you're getting your creature comforts, and I'm not trying to tell you not to. What I'm saying is,
I am.
what I'm saying is, just like take a look. It's one of the things that's probably the most disturbing thing you'll ever do, but also the most enlightening thing you can do, and the best gift you can give yourself, is to actually go back and look at your bank statements for the last couple of months and highlight everything that you spent money on that wasn't actually necessary. Like, you could have made a different decision. What it sometimes does is make you realize how much of an impact financially certain habits are having. The whole point is we have the choice of how to spend our time. Just yesterday we were sitting down and reviewing a big deal that we were preparing to invest in. Well, I didn't have to do that after my job, because I did what it took for a period of time to get out of my job and build our financial freedom. And Jen did the same. And so now we get to choose what we do with our time. I mean, I can tell you, Jen and I both individually had multiple different little side hustles that we would do, because we were trying to figure out, how do we get out of this job thing? So you have to think about, what else can you do besides your 9-to-5 to bring in income?
In the beginning, you're constantly looking at that income column of, okay, I got to get more of that. I got to get more of the money, right? But we're not looking at how we're reducing expenses to make that go higher. And then we're looking for the next raise, the next big thing, the next bonus, or, oh my God, in my personal experience, I need my stock options, right? There was all these things, but then they had to mature over a 2-year period. So I had to wait before I could use them. And it was just all this waiting for the income column to climb. And you eventually make that transition where the income column climbed, you've gathered a little bit of cash, and now you can go get an asset. And once you see the asset, the first one, then you're gonna be like, okay, I gotta get my next one. And then you're watching the asset column climb, which then feeds the income column. If you're liking this video so far, make sure you click the like button. No, the one down there.
What was that point in life where you just said, you know what? I'm done doing this. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to break out of the 9 to 5.
So in the very beginning, I was kind of like, I was focused on that income column, and I was like, how can I get more income? How can I get promoted? How can I get more stock options? How can I get, right? And climbing that ladder only for it to be on the wrong wall and realizing that it was on the wrong wall. But okay, what am I gonna do about it? Having something on the side where I can do and bring in income gave me this taste of what was possible. And knowing what was possible, then I started seeing things differently, and I started realizing, okay, this is what this can become. And that started to make me look at my behaviors and what I was doing and how can I continue to go down that path. And I did that for several years. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I took a break in 2008, 9, 10, and 11, because that's when the twins were born. Because of just all of the volatility. I didn't go through that recession like you went through. I just chose to just pause, right? And just figure things out because I was afraid, and I had that scarcity mentality and didn't understand that if I just shifted and looked for a different opportunity, I could have probably gotten a lot further than I did, but the fear held me back, right? But there was a point where, because I took that break for several years, and then I was at a new job with kids now that depended on me, and now what I should be doing turned into what I must be doing. Right? And then I was going to work, and at the time I was a single parent because I had recently gone through a divorce, and I was going through this situation where I was alone and coming home to 2-year-old twins that wanted all my attention. But my boss was like, you need to be at work you need to take your computer home. You need to do this, you need to do that. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing it. And it all directed me towards when you and I first started dating. And I was like, you know what? I should give this a go again and do it this way now.
So like at some point you read a book or you see a commercial or something and you're like, oh, there's more. And then you start going down the path, and then life sucks you back in, and you kind of forget about it for a little while. Then you engage back and you start making more progress, and then you get kind of sucked back in. And don't feel like you've failed because of it. That's just typical, and that's just normal, because sometimes it takes a lot to get you to really, really go for it. We're just hoping we can plant some seeds in your mind so that you start that process so that you can eventually have the freedom that you deserve. What is your why? And when do you want to be able to, not leave, but when would you like to be able to leave your 9 to 5 jobs? Drop that in the comments below. Let us get to know you a little bit.
All right, so the next thing I want to talk to you about is how to create time, but I really call it bending time. You got to make some sacrifices. Right, so when I took that break and then I came back in, I didn't come back into watching a whole bunch of TV, I'll tell you that. But when I was on that break, I got addicted to something called Netflix. I don't know if you've heard of it. I realized, man, I am spending at a minimum, I'm not even kidding you when I say this, at a minimum 28 hours to 30 hours a week watching Netflix. Like, how is that saving my life? How is that getting me out of the 9 to 5? It's not. Honestly, the only reason why I woke is because the twins were born. And when the twins were born, I didn't have time for anything but changing 20 diapers a day. And I'm not kidding. It was 2 of them, 10 diapers a day. And then I started to realize that it really didn't bother me that I wasn't watching anything, except for when everybody asked me, did you see the Game of Thrones episode? And I was like, no, I didn't. So that's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to ask yourself, how am I spending my time? What does my morning routine look like? Am I waking up talking about, hey, Jen, self, what's your intention for the day? What do you need to get done? Bookending your day is the best thing you could do for yourself, right? But the next best thing is you have to take a look at your week. So every Sunday, I sit down and I plan out, what do I gotta do this week? What do I gotta do this week as a wife? What do I gotta do this week as a mother? As a real estate investor? What do I have to do? All of these things for myself. How can I carve out time for myself? And I map out the whole week and I plan it day by day on my calendar. I suggest you do the same thing. So look at where you're managing your time. Try to figure out how to bookend your days and start by weekly planning. Those are the biggest ways. The second piece is what's influencing you. So I talked about how the people that you're hanging around with will influence you. You got to pay attention to what they're saying. Are they doubting themselves? Are they doubting you? Is the language that they're using kind of like based off of self-limiting beliefs. You know, I can't do this, or I can't do that, or I can't believe this happened. Instead, like, oh, you can't leave your job, you can't invest remotely, are you crazy? All of the can't. I want you to shift the language to, how can I get that done? How can I change my behavior to accomplish this goal? What would that look like? And challenging yourself to think through how to solve it. Because once you learn how to think like that, it's like you ring the bell, you can never unring it. You're awake, and you're gonna be trying to go down that infinite mindset of continuous growth. You're gonna have to make some sacrifices. You're gonna have to figure out, where are you spending your time and where should you cut something out? Who are you spending time with and who should you distance yourself from, because they're not the best thing for you to be hearing. And it's gonna be some hard choices. And my question for you is, what must you do that you don't wanna do in order to grow?
It can be a bit of a lonely place when you start trying to improve yourself and learn more, because you realize everyone else just wants to go and watch the TV. And there's nothing wrong with watching TV. It's just that when you're trying to build something, you only have so much time, right? So you have to make choices, and then you start opening up to, how do I find more people like me? And then you find people who are more successful than you, put yourself around them, and you'll just start seeing yourself elevate. And that's really gotta be part of your journey, so that you can do this thing. Like, always focus on getting better and be around people who are also focusing on getting better. If you're on this YouTube channel, I will tell you every single thing I mentioned, we have a masterclass for that thing. Like, everything that there is to know, we literally teach in this YouTube channel. So, but high level, when you're getting started, the first thing you need to know is, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to flip properties? Are you trying to do buy and hold? Are you trying to do apartments? What are you trying to do? And then you go and you start looking for markets that make sense based on what you're trying to accomplish. So then you pick a couple of markets, and then you pick one that you're actually gonna start in. The next thing you're gonna do is start getting leads coming in. So talking to realtors, talking to brokers, to start getting properties sent your way. You're gonna be analyzing them, making offers. At some point, you're gonna get an accepted offer. It's gonna scare the crap out of you when that happens, but you're gonna get that done. But then you're gonna go into due diligence. And the point of that is finding out what is actually real about the property. Is the offer I made, is that number good, right? And you have a period of time to do that. And if you get through that and the answer is yes, everything's good, then you're getting the financing. So you're getting a loan lined up, and you're handling all the pre-closing stuff, and then you close your deal. And then you're either going into rehabbing, if it's like the BRRRR strategy, or you're just going into owning the property. If you're buying something stabilized or that's already performing, which basically means you're just communicating with your property manager, because we want you to use a professional property manager so that you're not dealing with this day-to-day stuff, and that's gonna allow you to scale. But anyway, that's kind of the journey, just through making a decision about what is your goal, all the way through closing on and owning and holding a property. That's what that looks like. There's a lot to learn. It's a big learning curve, but we've given you everything just for free, so that you can start learning those things if this is the path that you choose to take.
Speaking of which, if you do want to get into multifamily real estate investing, but you're not sure what's the first step, the second, or the third, you can click the link in the description below, and a member of our team will hop on the phone with you and talk about your goals, your resources, and how we can hold your hand and get you to where you want to be.
The other thing we want to tell you is that we have a free Facebook group. It's called Multifamily Real Estate Investing. So if you want to be around people that are like you, on the journey, looking to learn, come join us in that Facebook group. We do tons of free education and content there. And every week, Jen and I make ourselves available for a question and answer session. It's live, it's in Zoom, we're face to face. You gotta come to the Facebook group, register, go to events, and then we'll see you there. But any questions you have about real estate, we're there to answer them for you.
Check out this video on how to build a multifamily real estate portfolio remotely, and then you'll learn how to really bend time, because you're gonna be doing it from anywhere. We teach you our entire system. So check out the video.
All right, guys, thanks, and we will see you next week.